Welcome to the Jerome Bee Farm. You might have just watched my last video where I put these supers away, duct taped them up, and put them on moth crystals. So now it's time to get ready for wintertime feeding. So bees cannot feed on liquid sugar water in the winter. They just can't process it. I don't know why. They just can't. So, but they can process granulated sugar. A lot of people take their sugar and they'll melt it down with water, and then they'll boil it and make like a brick of solid sugar candy. That's a lot of work, and you really don't need to do that. I just pour my sugar in this bucket, and I add a little bit of water, and got my water here. I put like a cap full of vinegar in there to give a little bit of acidity to stop any mold or mildew that might form on the sugar. And I want to put some Man Lake Pro Health in there. This is lemongrass oil and some other essential oils. It's good for the bees. And it also has thymol in it, which varroa mites hate thymol. And varroa mites are one of the main killers of bee colonies. So I'm going to put a little bit of this into my water here. Hopefully I don't spill it everywhere. This also keeps it from mildewing, and it stimulates the bees to feed on it a little bit. So if they were not sure about this sugar up above them, they'd smell this stuff and they'd go, "That's some good stuff, I'm going to get me some of that." So that's what it is. You got to be careful with this stuff too. When you mix it with your sugar water, man, it attracts bees like paper clips to a magnet, and you can incite a severe case of robbing where all your other bee hives will attack the one that's got this stuff in it when it's the liquid. And when it's in the solid sugar, not so much, but man, they will go crazy. So I'm going to mix that up, so that's ready. And I'm going to fill this bucket with 25-30 pounds of sugar, and I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to show you how I do that. So I went to Walmart today, picked up 100 pounds of sugar. I think that's funny. It's the third time in a couple months I went into Walmart and bought 100 pounds of sugar. They probably think I'm a bootlegger or something. My great grandpa was a bootlegger. I learned that a few years back. So there's 10. I always make sure I've got cane sugar and not beet sugar. It's a different kind of maltose, dextrose, sucrose. It's one of those, and it's, some people say beet sugar is the wrong one. So there's 20 pounds. I'm gonna just go with that. It's to right here. So. See, there's my 20 pounds of sugar. So now what I got is paint stirrer and a DeWalt 20-volt lithium drill. Best thing since sliced bread. So I got about that much water in this gallon jug, not quite a quart. So what you want to do is pour this in there and mix it up, and you want it to be about the same consistency if you were like making a snowball, because you're going to pack it. Just pour about half of this in there. This is just like a cooking show. I feel like Julia Child. Catch that how I slipped it into reverse? Forward. Okay. Next step in the process, we're going to put this into the feeders. They kind of stick together. So what I got here, again, it's a 1.5 inches. You can make it deeper if you want, but I think I had some stuff that was 1.5 inches laying around. Probably 2 inches is a little better. It'll hold more. And I just have 1/4 inch hardware cloth wire in here, and it's stapled all around the inside. When you make these, do not staple it to the bottom edge, because if you do, when you set it down, you don't have a good seal, and the bees, ants will be able to get in there, other critters you don't want, and it'll let cold air in. So you want a good seal, so you want wood to wood contact when you put this on your hive. I'm going to use this here just to set this on. This operation goes a lot faster if you had your spoon ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down newspaper and put this in here. So joining me now is Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State Cowboys. There he is. He's coming to help me. So Mike, hold this paper down right here. While you're at it, what's your game plan on whipping the pants off the Sooners Saturday? He's not saying much. Okay. Here's how we do it. Pack it in the corners to hold your paper down. Mike Gundy wasn't doing a very good job. Then you just fill it up. It's okay that it's dry in a few places, because the bees, when they, just from breathing, their respiration, they give off a lot of moisture, and it will turn this into a giant sugar cube block basically, because the liquid that's in it will evaporate, and it'll also pull the moisture out from the inside of the hive. And that's all there is to it, folks. So if your hive isn't really heavy, like if they don't have good 3 or 4 to 5 deep frames of honey that they can live off of, especially if it's a big healthy hive, they're not going to make it through the winter. They'll starve out in late January, February. So you have to check them. So I have some hives that I didn't get fed enough. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that right on top of there, and that'll take care of them through winter. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more of these to do. I'm not going to go through all 6 of them. So that's basically it. I've got 6 more of these right here to do, and I'm going to finish those off today with the rest of my 100 pounds of sugar. Ought to do it. I'll just stack them up right here, and that should be good. So there's one there. You can see some of them, like this guy here, still has some sugar left in it. So I'll just pack in around that, and they can finish that off. So this came off a hive that they didn't need all that. So, but you can see how they eat it from the bottom. You can see how it turns into hard blocks. I can't hardly break that. So I'll need to lift this up, and looks like I used paper towel last year. But the bees eat right through that paper, and they get to that sugar. So there's one important part of this I forgot to mention. On these sugar block feeders, it's important that there's ventilation for the bees, because that's how the moisture gets out of the hive. This sugar will absorb some moisture, but it can't absorb it all. So what I have is a little hole drilled here. This will allow moisture to get out, because their inner cover is going to be on top of this. So this is going to actually contact right above where the frames are. So I left a little space right here so air can pass through and come out this hole. And I've also got a wire mesh that's number 8, I believe. It's the size that a bee can't get through. So bees from other hives, if they smell this and want to get to that, they can't get to it. So that's strictly for air. It's not an escape or anything like that. So just wanted to mention that. Okay, there they are, all filled up. It took, I used 90 pounds of sugar, and I had some left over, and that's mainly because I had some sugar left over in these from last year. But I put the leftover sugar in this cover I had. I just turned it upside down to make a form and put newspaper in there, and I cut little strips in there to make blocks. So when this dries, I'll be able to pull those blocks out, and they're about an inch and a half thick. And what you can do with those, you can lay them right on top of the frames. That way you don't have to have a feeder like that. But that's another way you can direct feed sugar. Just wanted to show you that real quick. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, put them down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I'll see you on the next video. Probably going to be working on some chicken coop if we get some nice days ahead. So I'll see you later.